What if I told you that 60 was greater than 73? I'm Nick Rizzo.
And I'm Alex Jones.
And we witnessed history last night.
If not, perhaps the greatest night in NBA basketball history.
Absolutely just insane. April 13th will go down in history.
Yeah, that date, I saw actually earlier, Odell Beckham Jr. even tweet that 4/13/16.
Unbelievable.
Historic date. Might as well make it a holiday. People are going to take off work for it now.
It's up there with the greatest sports days of all time.
Yeah.
I mean, you think of, what is it, June 6th, the day that the Bronco was going down the street with OJ. That was another great day. But it's just one of those days will be ingrained forever.
Yeah, I mean, when we talk about greats of all time, we witnessed two performances and Kobe Bryant dropping 60 in his final game ever. And then, Warriors 73 wins, 9 losses, whatever, all that jazz. As Cavs fans, it's probably hard for us to talk about. But honestly, if you think about it, you talk, yeah, they beat the Bulls. Are they the greatest team of all time? You go 73-9, it doesn't matter unless you win a ring. Exactly. Yeah, you're going to have your name in the book as, hey, we had the best record in NBA history, but you lost that year, so who cares?
I 100% agree. It all matters what happens in the playoffs.
Right.
That's why I feel good as a Cavs fan this year.
And interestingly enough, their first round matchup is with Houston, who, yes, underachieved this year, but is one of the better 8 seeds in the West, I think, in a while because
they have James Harden.
Yeah, and they have a good post game in Dwight and whoever else they have down there. I haven't watched much of West Coast basketball this year, Cavs or die, but I think it's an interesting matchup. I think the Warriors' greatest opponent in the playoffs is going to be their mentality, but they've kind of had that kill-all mentality, I think, in this year. A couple slip-ups. And another thing is I like that game too because I think they show up against teams that are going to challenge them. But you look at their losses, they're teams that shouldn't even be in the gym with them at the same time.
We talk about that with the Cavs too. They play down the competition. Everyone does. And we're talking about their blemishes. They had 9. Nine losses.
Yeah, you look at the top seed in the West at 9 losses and the top seed in the East, the Cavaliers, with 25?
24 something. They're 57 and whatever that math is.
Also, if we're going to talk about greats, we have to talk about Jordan McRae.
Oh, that happened on the same night.
I know. I said,
I want that in the 30 for 30.
The Cavs.
I want the Jordan McRae game in the 30 for 30. Listen to me, ESPN. I am calling you out. That was an epic performance, even though he blew it at the end.
A 10-day contract guy drops 36, sends the game into overtime. Yes, the Cavs lost by 2, but their first round matchup team beat the backups by 2 in overtime.
Yeah.
I feel pretty confident that the first round's going to go pretty well for the Cleveland Cavaliers.
When we mean backups, Tristan Thompson played a total of 4 seconds to keep the streak.
Got to keep the streak going.
Played in that game. But anyway, while we're talking about greatness, we got to talk about the racquetball teams here at BW.
That's true.
1 second. National champions, both of them, men's and women's.
Yeah, men's with the D1 and then women's with the D2, but it's just more championships coming back to BW. We talk about sports greats and stuff. Hey, some really big teams here.
Got to get some really big rings.
But while we're on the mentions of shout-outs, I'd also like to shout out Hannah Jones. That's my little sister, committing to West Virginia Wesleyan and signing day coming up for her, and wish her nothing but the best and hope she's happy playing volleyball and staying home at West Virginia.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah. Any shout-outs you got to get out? Yeah.
Keep it in the family. I'm good right now. Just shout out to the family. Got the Akron Rubber Ducks game tonight.
Oh, wow.
Family event tonight. Gonna love it. But, let's get back to Kobe.
Yeah.
God, I was just watching that game. I was excited for every shot he took. He took 50 of them, but man, were they excited.
But, yes, he took 50 shots, made 22 of them. That's 3 makes away from making half your shots.
Which is
50%. 44%, in the NBA, if I shot 44%, I'd probably have a contract.
Yeah.
If I could do that. So, but looking at that, I mean, some of the other stats, I mean, 6 from 21, he was chucking. He even said he was that, like, yeah, I was throwing up shots.
I would too.
Yeah, I mean, in my last game ever, you're going to witness something impeccable.
16-win team.
I mean, yeah, and that, yeah, I mean, it was versus the Utah Jazz. You can say what you want about that team, but name me a great in their last game that dropped 60.
Never happened.
Never.
Most ever.
Name me one that's done 50.
I'll name you one who doesn't. Michael Jordan scored 15.
With the
Kobe scored 60.
Yeah.
Kobe scored 15 in the first quarter.
Where do you put Kobe all time?
As of last night, number 2.
Number 2 all time scoring or as a player?
As a player.
Really?
Yes.
So-
That is subject
so,
to change.
obviously-
I am riding high on the Kobe
So
team, Brian.
Kobe's on your Mount Rushmore
Maybe.
of NBA greats.
I think he's top 5. He's number 2 in my best player, but I don't know if he makes him Mount Rushmore.
Give me all-time greats, the 4 you would put on your Mount Rushmore.
My Mount Rushmore is the GOAT, Michael Jordan.
Okay.
I have to.
Right.
And I got to go with Oscar Robertson, triple dubs. I go Magic over Kobe just because of everything else around it.
Right.
You know, Magic was that kind of player that just was memorizing. And then number 4, ooh, that's a tough one. You know, I think I got to go with Shaq.
No LeBron on the Mount?
Not yet.
Not yet.
If he wins one in Cleveland,
I
I tell you what, if he wins another ring, which would be 3 in Cleveland,
well, his third would be in Cleveland, yeah.
yeah, leads higher into the points, assists, and all those stats. He's going to be top 10, probably most of them.
Right.
I think you can even have a conversation for best ever if he continues at this pace. With winning a championship in a city who hasn't won in 50-plus years, that holds a lot to me than winning 6 in Chicago.
I agree. And when you talk about greatest, I think it's fair to say you wait till they're out of the league. So when they're done playing, so you can truly appreciate what they did and judge them by not what they're going to do in the future.
Absolutely.
So when I look at my NBA greatest, I don't know how much you'll agree with me, but yes, Michael Jordan, greatest of all time. I think personally, I think a lot of people would agree with me too. I got to go Wilt the Stilt Chamberlain there.
That's who I forgot.
There you-
Maybe him and Shaq. I'd
Yeah,
like
I feel like Wilt might be up there a little above Shaq. I mean, 100. Wilt kept it 100 most of the time. And then I look at, Larry Bird, Larry Legend. Shout out Bill Simmons. I'm sure he'd agree with me on that. Just an absolutely amazing player. When I look at that, it was probably between Magic and Larry for me. And just, I got to go Larry Bird. I don't know. It could be personal preference at that point, whether you want to judge stuff based on that. But I like that. And then I got to go hometown roots and go with the logo. Jerry West. But when I name that, listen to we talk about big threes on teams a lot. Imagine if any of these guys played together.
Oh, God.
I mean, obviously there are times where
Kobe, we didn't put Kobe on our Rushmore, but
right.
we made a case for him.
I mean, and when I look at that championship team, it was Shaq and Kobe. It wasn't more of one or the other. I mean, they played dominant together. But yeah, I look at this. Listen to the averages of these guys put together: 12 MVPs. 27.9 points, 11.2 rebounds, 6 assists, and 43 All-NBA honors on my Mount Rushmore.
That's insane.
Yeah, I mean, it's outstanding. And then some draft classes now, like the 2003 draft class, I mean, if you take that, that's probably somewhere in the numbers for them too. Maybe not MVPs, maybe other.
That's more of a stat, I think, would be stats-wise.
Yeah.
Draft class. I mean, LeBron has 2. D-Wade has 3 championships. Melo has none. Remember Dwayne won with Shaq back in...
Oh, yeah, and then the 2 with LeBron.
08,
Yeah.
whatever it was.
I got you. But, yeah, I mean, the Kobe performance, like you said, it's an amazing night in basketball. 60's greater than 73. And I felt it was unfair, too, that the Warriors got the bump to ESPN and Kobe got the bump to ESPN, too.
I agree.
Because we've watched the Warriors all year. Everybody's seen them win. And it was pretty apparent that they were going to get it. Yeah. Like, you could have turned that game off after the first quarter because Steph Curry had 5 threes. He had 15 points. And he shot the lights out that game. Speaking of Steph Curry, he also had 402 made three-pointers this year, breaking his own record that was previously 266.
I think that's an improvement.
I would say so, yes. But
It's gross. It really is. It's beyond. It's
the way he plays is just
no one's ever played the game.
he's the best. He's the best scorer I've ever seen in my lifetime. And even if I look at highlights of old players, he's still the best scorer.
Over Kobe, he scored 81 again.
Yeah,
He retired last night.
right.
Wow, that's some big statements there.
I mean, scoring wise, I mean, he's got the championship. He'll probably get, I don't know how many more, but I'm assuming they'll get another one. I don't know about this year. I'm telling that the record may speak that they're the best team in the NBA right now, but you're the one everybody wants to take down.
Yeah.
So you got a huge target on your back.
Oh, absolutely. And the defending champs. You know, Cleveland's going to be in the finals. I'll bet a house on it.
Yeah, I feel like the East this year, actually the East a lot of years, I feel like the West is more competitive, but not this year. I don't know, because
The East has better mediocre teams. You know what I mean?
like the 6 to 8 seeds.
Yeah, 8 through 4 seeds are better than the 4 through 8 seeds in the West. But the top of the West is clearly...
The switch up this year was usually it's the East, like the teams with the losing records are getting the bottom seeds. All the East teams have winning records this year.
Yeah.
The bottom two in the West don't.
They're 500, I believe.
They're 500 or less.
So
I don't really know about
it
that.
should be interesting. But, you know, something I got to say about Kobe's performance last night,
Right.
that's top 5 moments I think I've ever witnessed in my 20 years of living.
Would you put it above or below Linsanity?
Extremely above.
That's still one of my favorite parts of NBA history ever, even if it was like 2 weeks. I mean, it kept it interesting.
That was an event. I'll leave it at that.
Again, personal preference coming into face here, but
But, you know, I just want to talk about these retiring greats. In every sport within the last year, we have lost a top 5 player at their position.
yeah.
Peyton Manning retired from the NFL, one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. I
Yep.
say number 1. Everyone argues with me. You even look at NASCAR, Jeff Gordon, one of the all-time greats there.
Right.
I'm going blank here.
Here-
Kobe,
yeah.
one of the greats.
Let me throw something interesting at you that I saw recently. The number 24. The number 24 we lost this year in Kobe Bryant gone. Marshawn Lynch retired. Charles Woodson retired.
Yeah.
So
Jeff Gordon was
Jeff Gordon was 24 too. So that's just a really interesting year of numbers
It is.
to lose. I mean, I don't know. Maybe people don't argue that Marshawn Lynch is like one of the greatest running backs ever, but he was still a really, really good NFL player who won a championship.
Exactly.
And
it's
then
tough.
Charles Woodson, one of the greatest defensive NFL players of all time in college and the pros. I mean, you don't have to like him or not, but you can respect
I like him, but I hate his school.
you can respect the game at that point.
Absolutely.
But yeah,
You got to.
yeah, you speak about that, and it's weird for us because these are the guys we grew up watching.
Exactly. I mean, my 20 years on Earth, like Kobe played in the league since my birth.
Yeah.
He was drafted months before I was born.
It's going to be the same thing when we are growing up and our kids are watching people play. And it's like my dad said to me is like, oh, you never watched MJ play.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to say to my kid, like, you never watched LeBron or Kobe Bryant play basketball. You think this kid's good.
That's gonna be so weird.
You should have seen what basketball was back in our day.
Where I walk 2 miles uphill to score every day.
But yeah, this is a big week for NBA. And then while we get into what we're about to talk about, it was interesting. They kept it under wraps. This was okay. Well, we'll give it away right now. The LA Rams trade with the Tennessee Titans. This trade went down last night at 9:30 p.m. Accepted and paperwork done, everything. It did not get out till this morning, where we all woke up to notifications that hey, the number 1 pick now belongs to the new Los Angeles Rams. That speaks to the city of LA that this was Kobe's night. Nothing's going to take away from it. We can worry about the Rams having the number 1 pick tomorrow.
That's impressive, especially in today's social media age where reporters are leaking things like instantly.
If reporters are respecting a leak that big because of Kobe Bryant's night, that speaks to what impact Kobe Bryant had.
It's just another thing to realize.
Because you think about it, you could be whatever reporter, a low beat writer guy. It's like, I could be the one to break this story, but Kobe.
Exactly.
But Kobe. Like, that was the whole idea of last night. Like, oh, that was cool. but Kobe did this.
And we're not just talking something small. We're talking about the number 1 pick in the NFL draft, the league that dominates all the rest in this country,
And is trying to dominate internationally.
And the number 1 pick gets traded, and it doesn't get under wrap for hours later. That's just, it speaks to Kobe Bryant.
I got to be honest, when I saw what was given up for that number 1 pick, and when you make a trade like that, it's for a quarterback.
It is.
This is 100%.
You don't trade for Tunsil.
Right. You don't trade for a left tackle like that. You don't bet the farm on somebody unless it's my franchise quarterback. In LA.
No fans
You need.
or they're just not.
I mean, LA for the move. My God, are they making some noise? I mean, they're getting Hard Knocks. They have the number 1 pick now. They're on the clock for another 14 days. And you're seeing reports like Wentz or Goff, Wentz or Goff, Wentz or Goff. Do you think they know, or do you think they just know they want a quarterback?
I know all the work's been done. They did their research. They know what they have.
Right.
Now I think it's just arguments between the coaching staff, the front office, everyone with the football personality in that building.
Right.
They'll all be in, I vote Wentz, I vote Goff, and they're just going to hash it out for 2 more weeks.
Yeah, I think they're probably leaning one way or the other at this point. I don't think they're going to let it get out because there's a lot of stuff that could happen between now and when the draft happens that could shake this entire thing up. Obviously, I don't think LA made the trade to 1 to trade back. Like, they're going to stay there, obviously, but I mean, you better be sure.
Oh, absolutely. Look at Washington. Look at RG3. Didn't work out in Washington, and they traded a lot to these LA Rams. I mean, it's a little ironic there because when they traded the Rams back for the number 2 pick, and now the Rams have to turn around and done the same thing for the number 1 pick. It's just
right.
So funny there.
I mean, everybody makes decisions that they think are best for their organization and stuff like that. And yeah, when we look at LA and how it shakes up the rest of the draft and what other trades could happen, I don't know. Wentz or Goff is personal preference, maybe. At this point, I don't know what the deciding factors are. I'm not a scout, but I could go based off collegiate career and stuff like that. But it was breaking news. The last time there was a huge trade, there wasn't even a trade last year till the draft.
No, not at all.
And now there's one 14 days early. Or not early, but before. But
wait 14 days? God.
I know. I love the draft. It's always interesting to see what teams go for. But
It's one of my top 5 sporting events of the year.
But yeah, instead of talking like who's going to take who, instead of acting like we're NFL general managers and like we know what we're talking about, let's talk about the players instead and kind of where they are ranked. You know, according to NFL, we're going to go off Mike Mayock. Whether you agree with him or not, it's kind of generally where I think everybody else is leaning towards, despite maybe a swap in position. But I'll give it to you this way. When we look at the quarterback position, it's Wentz or Goff. 1 and 2, 2 and 1, whatever you want to say about those guys. And I think after that, the rest of the people left are late first, early second, quarterback-wise. I mean, unless somebody else needs a quarterback that badly that they take Lynch or Cook in the first round.
That's a stretch.
And you're out. I mean,
I got to go. I think Wentz, Goff are first rounders.
Right.
I think Lynch might be a mid to late second, in my opinion.
Right.
That's my solo opinion. But honestly, I think the third best quarterback, maybe not today, but if you get him in the right situation, with the right coach, with the right mentor ahead of him, Cardale Jones might be the best quarterback out of this draft.
When I look at him, he's got so many dangerous weapons and tools, but not really the experience because in college he started how many games?
I think he started
11 or 12.
He started 3 and then 6, I believe.
So nine or 10 then.
It was like 10 games or less.
And Urban Meyer
won every single one of them.
Yep.
He did not lose in college.
Yep.
Not once.
And Urban Meyer touched on his pro day when he talked about Cardale. I honestly had some trouble in the combine with, pulled his hamstring around the 40 and couldn't do anything else really the rest of the day. And he even said, I read an article talking to him about it. He said, that just made me realize I need to get ready for my pro day. And he had a good pro day. He looked crisp in the pocket. He had great presence there. He let the ball. He wasn't afraid to let the ball go. And when I say that, they say a couple of Cardell's trip-ups were he threw the ball too far. Cardell Jones can throw the ball about 60 yards or more in the air.
From Berea to Cleveland.
Yeah.
It's insane.
So
I remember watching like a spring ball practice, I think last year. He was throwing the ball from the end zone to the other 15. Like, what?
But yeah, like obviously the quarterback's a big deal here. If you look at some other positions, who do you think is either the best at that position or could be really good in the NFL? Like even if they're a sleeper, who do you think could prosper? Just give me some names position wise.
I think Joey Bosa is the most for sure thing in this draft.
Okay.
I think wide receiver potential out of Bowling Green, I forget his name, has potential to be a sleeper in this draft.
Okay.
He's just Ryan Lewis is his name.
Roger
Lewis, excuse me.
There you go.
But he catches the ball every time it's thrown to him. He's one of those. Have you seen the German guy?
Yeah, the guy that runs like a 4.3, 4.4 40.
He looks like he's playing against middle school teams in the highlight
Right.
I saw.
Right.
But he's got the size.
I mean, he might get a chance. He might be a late round sleeper for anybody else, but I don't know. When I look at like top players, I feel this is a really defensive draft.
Oh, yeah.
Like there's a lot of defensive talent in this draft, and not taken too high, but taken at the right time. Jalen Ramsey is dangerous in the secondary.
Is he primetime 2.0?
I don't know if I'd go primetime 2.0 because of the Florida State connection. I get where you're going with that, but the kid is dangerous.
Yeah.
He makes plays all over the field, plays hard, and it's a heavy safety and secondary draft too. I mean, I know there's some outside rushers in Spence and Joey Bosa and Billings from Baylor, and then there's some interior guys, and people talk about tackles a lot too when they talk about defense, but I like the secondary class a lot because you got Ramsey, you got Hargraves, you got Joseph, you got KJ Dillon. I know I'm naming WVU guys because it's what I know, but and then obviously Von Bell and Eli Apple too, your hometown guys for OSU. But if I touch on Carl Joseph real quick, he was rated the most feared player in college football before going into the season. Players did not want to come across the middle or come near Carl Joseph because guess what? You're getting knocked out. And it was interesting because when he goes to the combine, he's interviewed by Deion Sanders. When you talk about prime time, and Deion asks, who's the best football player in this draft, in your opinion? Carl Joseph. Carl Joseph turns right to Deion, looks him dead in the eyes, and goes, I'm the best football player in this draft. I'm the best safety in this draft. He played 4 games his senior year before going down with the torn ACL. He had 5 interceptions in 4 games.
That's awesome.
He also had 3 of those interceptions versus Georgia State, but that's neither here nor there because he's still making those plays and then the fumble recovers and stuff like that. But you know when they talk about players and stuff like that, you look at tape because he started since he was a freshman. So they have a lot of tape to look at, whether it be from his senior year or not. Whether he's a first-round pick or not, I believe Carl Joseph is one of the best defensive players in this draft and will perform stupendously in the NFL.
You know, time can tell on that. But everything you've said, I mean, I've seen him play before too. It's worth the risk, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Especially if you're late first, early second, I'm taking him. If
Yeah.
he's still on the available, I think he's going to be a great pick as well. You know, obviously, me with my Buckeyes, I think everyone in the draft is going to be a good player to be.
Right.
You know, I say that, but I've watched them play every game of their careers.
When I hear you say that, I don't even think you're being biased because there was so much talent at OSU this year, and there's easily 5 first-round picks coming out of OSU.
5 were invited to the draft, automatically getting drafted in the first. I think, unless there's something substantial that happens. I think they have the possibility to get 7 in the first round. I don't know if it's going to happen, but we'll have to see. But, you know, I think that wraps up draft talk for today. I mean, 2 weeks to go, and we're going to have to just wait and see here. You know, I'm curious to see any more movement. I know the second pick has some commodity because there's only 2 good quarterbacks in the draft for first round. A couple of teams want it. We'll see what happens with that. Obviously, who knows at this point? It's one of those.
Right. I love doing this. I love talking about sports in general. And shout out again. Appreciate anybody who listens to us.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, it's something we love to do. And the fact that people take the time out of their day to listen to us talk about sports is just insane for me to think about. and I'm just very grateful for it. And we're going to transition now. You and me are going to step back and let somebody else talk. But as always, I'm Alex Jones.
I'm Nick Rizzo. Thanks a lot, guys.
Thank you for listening.